My name is Stephen Reid, and as you can see behind me, I am standing here at Ballintoy Harbour in Northern Ireland, where I'm from, and I'm a commercial filmmaker, and I mostly specialise in outdoors and tourism content. My work covers quite a broad range. I've done everything from stop motion animations all the way through to outdoors and tourism promotions. Currently, I mostly specialise in outdoors and tourism. That's what I really love. I'm from a country that's got a spectacular outdoors environment. I love to show it off. So over the last few years, I have really started to specialise in outdoors and tourism, and part of that has included being able to get perspectives that you just can't get any other way apart from using things like drones. So today we're here to create an online masterclass creating content with drones. So those parts are going to include everything from drone selection, because there's so many different options and types of drones out there. So we're going to look at what's going to be best for you, for your particular needs. We're going to look at the basics of getting in the air, the basics of flying, the basics of control. Before you get flying, we're going to look at things like safety, the environment, weather, stuff you should be looking out for. We're going to look at how to actually fly, how to do certain types of movement, what the controls do. We're going to look at how to use the best settings to get the best shots in the right environment. And we might also take a little bit of a look at what you actually do with that imagery once you've captured it. Hopefully, everything you'll need to get started with drones. I come from a family where photography has always been like an important feature. My parents have always had cameras, have always taken photographs of us growing up. And for whatever reason, my parents bought me a film camera when I was quite young. I think I've used a film camera from when I was maybe 8 years old, maybe as young as that. I would go to the camps or on holidays, and I would just take snapshots of whatever. Didn't really know what I was doing with it at the time. It was just this fun thing that you could wind along. Don't even think I had a battery in it. Take a photograph, little nasty cheap plastic box, and then you got your, you sent away the film and you got your photographs back. And I just enjoyed having this little object, this little bit of this gadget. And I've always had a love of gadgets. I think that maybe sparked it off, just this little camera that I started with. But at that stage, I didn't really have an interest in photography as an art form. It was more getting snapshots. When I was a bit older, I got a digital camera, and I guess I've always liked getting reactions from people, making people laugh, or if I'm honest, making them angry, or happy, or whatever it is. And when I got into the digital cameras, what I really liked to do was I'd take photographs of my friends. I would take those photographs into Photoshop, and I'd like remove their heads or put their heads on upside down or move their features around, do really weird stuff with them, and then send them those photographs. So what I didn't realize at the time was I was simultaneously learning photography, learning technology, and also learning post-production and editing, which is a big important part of any kind of image capture. It's one thing to get the image, but what you do with it afterwards can take it to those final steps. Although I don't necessarily recommend removing people's heads if you're just trying to take a normal portrait photograph of them. When I was in school, I ended up at one point working, this is a weird connection to videos, but I worked in a butcher's for about 4 years. And I've always liked movies. I've always liked movies that have been a little bit scary. When I was a kid, my favorite movie was Jurassic Park. Traumatized me. I was terrified of going near windows. I thought a dinosaur was going to come and eat me. But I think it implanted some kind of interest in making stuff that's a little bit scary. Where does that connect to the butchers? Well, when I was in the butchers, I had a lot of spare time and was bored. And at that point I had a really early, I think it was a Sony Ericsson camera that could shoot video. And to kill time, I would make like little weird, scary videos in the butchers. Somewhere there was a video going around with a panning shot over the top of all the meat, and then a hand in the middle of the sausages. And then it would go on along, and then there would be like another part of an arm in the sausages, and then we had some shots, that looked like somebody was hanging up on a meat hook in the fridge. And at the same time as doing those weird videos, I was getting into trying to do visual effects and camera tricks, all because I really liked when you manage to capture that magic and show it to somebody, you get a reaction. So there is a video of me, I think I was about 14, and in a single uncut shot, it looks like I'm taking a knife and just cutting my finger off. I do still have that video. But I took like a pork sausage, filled the inside of it with sauce, sort of put it on my knuckle, set the camera up at the right angle, and angles are everything. You're looking at this shot right now and this looks stunning, but right over there, there could be a landfill site. There isn't actually a landfill site. Stuck on the sausage, cut it off on camera, right angle, looked terrifying, showed it to my mum, she only freaked out. So I've always liked that, so I really like the fact when you make videos and show them to people, you can make them feel something. You can make them feel happy, you can make them feel sad, and as I found out, as I've ended up doing it as a career, you can change people's lives, you can make them and help them take positive steps. A lot of the videos I make would promote things like hiking or running, and I would now have people come up to me and say, I started running because of you, I started hiking because of you, because of the videos. And the fact that a video can have that kind of positive influence in someone's life blows me away. Now obviously at the same time, I could be making advertisements selling people energy or gas, or just trying to promote some everyday things. So you're not always making that aspirational content, but the fact that you're able to do that is one of the reasons I love videos so much. So while I had an interest in photography and video from quite early on, it's never something I thought I could do as a career. Because when I was in school, YouTube didn't exist, and Google Video had maybe started, but video cameras that shot good quality video were beyond anything I could afford at the time, so I didn't even consider it an option that I could have a career in video. So I ended up doing a course in graphic design. I became a web designer, a web developer, and I did that for about 5 years. But I was never really that happy with it, and because I've always been more of a visual creative rather than technical, what I found, especially with the web stuff, was websites became more and more technical, they became more and more code and program driven, and I just got really bad at it. And I was sitting one day in an office that I was sharing with a friend, and we're having this conversation, and I said, if you weren't doing this, what would you be doing? And he told me what he would be doing, like I haven't a clue what he said. And he asked me, and I thought for a second, I thought, you know what? I think I'd love to do photography or video. And that planted a little seed in my head, 5 years into a completely different career, that maybe I should have been doing something else. Maybe I should be doing video, maybe I should be doing photography. About a year after that, I've been working for myself at the time. Hadn't been hugely successful. I was making a living, but it wasn't great. But I had an offer to come work for a startup company as a creative director, in charge of really graphic design, the same things I've been doing. And I said yes. I did that for a couple of years, but it being a startup, the story ended as so many startups do. Long story short, I left and lost 3 months' salary and didn't really have a job. And at that point, I just felt burned out from doing graphic design. I felt fed up with web stuff. I didn't feel I was good at it. I think the technology just moved on. I thought, you know, I'd love to be doing video again. I had a client who I had done web design for, I'd done print design for, and they asked me, Stephen, can you do video? And at that point, I couldn't really do video. But I said, I'll tell you what, if you give me enough money to buy all the equipment I would need, to buy all the cameras I need and all the gear I need, and you give me 3 months, I'll make a video. And for whatever reason, they said yes. So I bought all the gear and spent 3 months working on this promo project. And a lot of it was outdoors. I was shooting way up in Donegal, and I was shooting around the area where I lived in County Antrim. So I was getting to travel a bit, I was getting to see the outdoors, and I was getting that experience of shooting. And that again really ignited that love for filming outdoors and filming in beautiful locations. And I did that project, and I thought, this is great, I'm going to get so much video work off the back of this, and my career is going to be in video. But that's not what happened. No one contacted me. I think I hadn't quite figured out how marketing works. I just assumed the work would come rolling in because I'd made this one video that, if I'm honest, not very many people had actually seen. So I ended up going back and doing web design and graphic design for another couple of years, but I was always trying to break into doing video. And then a friend told a lie, which is probably the thing which really pushed me into video, because it was coming up to Christmas, and the town where I'm from wanted to get a promo video done to promote the town. And one of the council board members was talking to my friend. They were at a networking event, and they said to them, do you know anybody who does, you know, like really good video, who could do like an advertising video to promote our town, something like a John Lewis ad? And my friend said, and his exact words were, Stephen Reid is making great strides in the field of narrative filmmaking. Which is not true. That I was not making strides, I was not making even baby steps, it was not moving anywhere, I just wanted to. But anyway, this person contacted me and said, we'd love to make a video to promote the town, would you be up for it? I said, yes, I'd absolutely love to. Can you come in and have a chat with us in 3 days' time? I then spent 3 days coming up with a story. I've always been good at making up stories quite quickly, so I came up with this idea about the story of this tiny little teddy bear that gets lost in the town at Christmas. It was a real tearjerker, and it explores the town, and through like the love and kindness it finds in the town, is reunited with a small child and gains a home, and it's a really like lovely little script. And I got my sister to draw me up some nice storyboards of this video as well. I went into that meeting and I sort of acted and pitched my way through the whole story. A couple of people cried. They said, we love it, let's make the video. The best part was, nobody ever asked me, do you have a portfolio or can we see any examples of your work? Because all I had was that one project, which was completely irrelevant. So that project, spent about 5 months working on it. And that's really the project that kickstarted my career into making video, because it went locally viral on a very small scale, and then it got my name out there as someone who did video. I got more projects from that, and then really my career in doing video took off from there. I started off thinking I was probably going to do a lot more stuff with puppets and even stop motion animation. We were building sets and working a lot in the dark, but then Instagram changed my life again. This keeps happening at various points. There's just these, I think I'm going in one direction and then something happens and I'm going in a completely different direction. But I'd started to do Instagram stories, and I'd also started trail running. And the one thing I love about trail running is it lets me explore the place I live quickly. I can go out and I can find new places and I can travel much quicker than I could if I was hiking. And always being that person who likes to share things, I started sharing where I was on my Instagram stories. It's like, here I am, here's this beautiful location, look at it. And again, someone on the council following Instagram saw those videos and asked me, would you be interested in doing that to promote local tourism? So we made a series of videos to promote local tourism all around the County Antrim coastline. Those videos were probably the most successful the council had ever made of that kind of video. And that really then pushed me into really wanting to focus on the outdoors and tourism. And a big part of being able to show off those landscapes and locations has been drones. One thing I changed that made a huge difference was my attitude towards saying yes to things. When I started off after university working in graphic design, I kept myself to myself. I didn't want to invest in anything new. I didn't really want to trust other people to help me with stuff. And I wanted to spend as little money as possible on new gadgets and things, and always tried to mostly work within my comfort zone. And then just one day I decided, you know what, I'm just going to try saying yes to stuff more often. I said, you know, whether that be saying yes to going to networking events, saying yes to projects I hadn't tried before, and also researching and investing in new technologies that I wasn't entirely sure what they could do for me. One really good example of that is drone technology, because I've been aware of drones for several years before I'd ever used them. I'd been blown away by the perspective that they could get. And I kind of thought I might want to get into that, but when I looked at it at the time, it's very expensive. It was going to cost me about £1,000 for a drone. If I wanted to use it commercially, that was going to be about £1,000 as well, just to do the training. Then there was insurance on top of that. Then there was permission from the Civil Aviation Authority. It was just this massive, the unknown. But honestly, getting into drones was probably one of the best choices I ever made for my career. And it's probably been the single piece of camera technology that's really gotten me to where I am today, doing the work I am today. I mean, literally, I wouldn't be here doing this if I wasn't into drones. But I have become known as the guy who gets really, really good outdoors drone footage in Northern Ireland. And part of that has been because I said yes to the technology. I took that time, I took the risk, I invested in it. And it did take a couple of years until that started to come back, but it did. And I think that's so important if you're a creative person and you're wanting to progress. You just have to invest, and not necessarily always money, but time as well. I see people buy technology and they don't use it. Use it, buy something, use it, and use it over and over again. Even if you don't think you're very good, keep using it, because let's be honest, everybody is bad when they start, but you keep going and you get better, and that can really, really pay later on. But drones, yeah, drones really, really transform things for me, because they just give you this, wow, my voice there. They just give you this perspective you cannot get any other way, other than being able to literally fly above it and look down like a bird. They're incredible, and they have come down a lot in price since then, and the process to getting into them has become much, much simpler. So there's probably less excuse now for getting into drones than there ever has been. Thanks to DJI, this video is going to help you get into drones fast. It's going to help you know which drone is going to suit you, because there's a lot of choices out there and a lot of different types, and your needs will be specific to you. It's going to help you know, well, what is the knowledge I need to know before I start to fly. It's going to help you to know, how do I even start flying, and just all the things that you need to know to actually start flying and making amazing content with drones. Drones are an incredible, versatile filmmaking tool. At the most basic level, they're amazing for letting you get establishing shots. So the first shot that you see in a video, before you see everything else, it tells you where you are, what the geography's like, and gives you a real sense of the environment. It's that whoa shot, the shot that gets the initial reaction from your audience, which is why there's such a good tool for online marketing, because you've got that like 3 seconds at the start of a video to absolutely grab someone's attention, and sometimes a drone shot is the best way to do that. But as well as showing off incredible environments, you can also bring them down to a lower level, and you can do slow shots moving around and through buildings, objects and trees. You can come around corners and reveal things. Recently I used a drone to chase a boat out of a harbour for a tourism video, and then I'm able to go from following this boat quite close up to suddenly pull back to reveal this incredible landscape. And in that aspect, I'm able to go from detail to context, which is like one of the most basic elements of storytelling. Show your detail and then show where it is. And with a drone, you can do that in a single movement by starting close and just pulling back. Call it the droney is probably the most common version of that, where you stand looking straight at your drone and it pulls back. You can also use them to track people, which is great. So if you have somebody cycling or in a car, you can draw your little box. Depending if it's a drone that has that capability, it'll lock on, and then you can concentrate on framing your shot as the drone flies around. They're just an incredibly versatile tool. Over the next 5 weeks, we're going to be providing you with all kinds of tips and tricks to create amazing drone content. And what we want you to do is, once you've got your videos or your photographs, share them with the hashtag WEX Masterclass. I think even the seagulls are excited to get started. So we're going to go on a little bit of a road trip all around spectacular locations in Northern Ireland, all around here on the Causeway Coast, and maybe a few other places. So let's get started.